Remember the 80s? Remember the cool Saturday morning cartoons? You know, the ones with wild characters and plot lines? Stuff with superpowered teddy bears and a kid fighting with video game characters and that boy who turned into a car? Now, stop lying. For real. The ones who were actually old enough. Remember the 80s? Well, if you like those kinds of shows, Denver the Last Dinosaur, Danger Mouse, Dino Saucers, Popples, you'll enjoy the Mighty Mascots from Alterna Comics. Full disclosure, one of the creators asked me to review the book. I intended to buy it anyway because when I saw Peter Simeti's tweet about it, the cover looked cool and it's that kind of quirky concept that I like. It looked like someone made cereal box characters into superheroes, and that's basically the premise of the book. Here's a pitch from the title page. Born from the ashes of a disastrous 3D printing accident, 8 living advertisements have banded together to right the wrongs of this world. Led by a former child star, these unlikely heroes are freaks to some, but you will know them as the Mighty Mascots. Mighty Mascots. Dun, 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 dun. Mighty Mascots. Dun, 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 dun. You have to be over 30 to get that reference. Now, that's a good pitch. The book was created and written by Keith Gleason, drawn by Ian Morianto, and colored by Anton Bandy. Let's talk about the art. I like the art. Ian, because I'm not even going to try that last name again, has an interesting art style. It's got some detail to it, but it's mostly line work and not a lot of shadows. That's something I personally like because it leaves room for the coloring, and it's also similar to animation line art. Ian has some great poses and panel flow. The action scenes really pop. The characters are the best part. It's easy to tell who inspired them, but they're different enough not to get sued. I think Anton's color is okay. I don't mind the two-tone style because it makes it look like a cartoon. I kinda wish they had gone for more of that look, maybe even adding in some texture and blurring the lines to make it look like an old VHS clip. Where the coloring throws me off though is with the shadow colors. There are a lot of bright greens, and they don't blend well with the other colors. I get the idea is that this green light is being cast by the villains, or at least that's how I took it, but the shading just doesn't work well. Here's an example at the top of the page where the shadows are green, and you can see the green is fighting with the other colors. When you get to the bottom of the page, the shadows are mellowed out, and it works much better. Other than that, I think the art in this book is great. As for the story, Heath came up with a really kooky concept. What if kids' snack food characters came to life and became superheroes? Honestly, that's totally an 80s concept. Could have been a cartoon or even a live action show with puppets. Yeah, they did that in the 80s because networks were willing to take risks back then. I'm shocked no one has done this before, or at least I can't remember anyone doing it, because it just works. The story begins with two thugs adding this chemical created by Dr. Baneful into the sprinkler system in a supermarket. This turns all the products into green monsters called Tartar Creeps, led by Muckmouth. Just as a reporter gets attacked, the Mighty Mascots show up. You've got Captain Horatio Honeyflakes, Boxer Bear, Mondo Martian, Brewster McPunch, Professor Manny Coleman, Sea-Rat, Whack, Smack, and Boom. If you can't figure out who they're based on, you're either too old or your childhood sucked. So they get to fighting, and it's awesomely ridiculous. Like the scene where Not Kool-Aid Man takes out these mutated juice boxes. He says, "A round of pungent punch for everyone. You're not messing with a soft drink. Oh yeah." I added in the last part, but there are tons of puns like that throughout the fight. They're cheesy, but they fit the comic. But even though the mascots are strong, the Tartar Creeps begin to overwhelm the team. So then we jump to Professor Coleman, whoever could he be based on, and Mondo Martian, and we get the mascots' backstory. We're told that the mascots were created using a formula created by this guy named Trevor. It was supposed to have been destroyed, but it obviously survived, and somehow Dr. Baneful got a hold of it. We're also told that the formula resulted in Trevor's death. Honestly, this part lost me because I felt like I was missing a huge chunk of the story. It's fine not to show Trevor dying or the mascots being created, but when that info is so important to the story the way it is here, I kinda want a couple of panels or a page showing what happened. It's really confusing with Mondo because he's an alien, and that adds another quirk to the story that needs an explanation since Coleman is totally fine with him. You almost don't need Mondo there, to be honest. The concept works without him. But I say almost because I don't know where the story is going or whether Mondo is the reason Trevor could create the formula. Maybe that info is given in a later issue, but at the moment it feels like I'm missing something. Anyway, Mondo thinks he can reverse engineer the formula and sets out to find something to use to fight against the Proto Creeps. Then we go back to the Mascots, and Whack, Smack, and Boom combine to form Mega Crunch. Whoever could this be based on? Voltron. It's Voltron. He's even got the sword, come on. Meanwhile, Mondo finds the magazine he's been looking for and pours his new formula all over it, but it doesn't work out quite as he planned. It creates Team Rocket, the Crown Team. You know that's not from the 80s, right? Pokemon's from the 90s, come on man, you're breaking the theme. So the Crown Team seems like heroes, but they're against all things that decay, including breakfast and lunch snacks, so the mighty Mascots are gonna have to fight them too. I really enjoyed this book. It's got that perfect tongue-in-cheek tone where it's funny and silly and doesn't take itself too seriously, but has some cool moments. It really is like an 80s style cartoon. It's a 3-issue miniseries and the second issue just came out. I picked this up even if it were $3.99, but it's only $1.50, so you have no excuse. It's a fun book. Buy it, buy both issues. If you have kids, especially little kids, this is perfect. They may not get all the 80s references and in-jokes. They won't have any idea who Coleman is, but I think they'll get the gist of it. Go and pick this up and enjoy yourself. And if you've already got it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Thanks for listening.